anyway, I start. I'm Eric. I'm from the Bronx, New York. So I'm currently living in Albany, New York, in New York
Okay.
State.
Okay.
Yeah. So I unfortunately, but fortunately served 27 years and 6 months
Yeah.
incarcerated. For a crime that I did commit, and I did pay for, and still paying for, because I think that'll be me paying for that, you know, that crime every day.
Sure. 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 Sure.
But,
Hear you.
I feel like that'll be paying. I'll be paying for that every day of my life, taking someone's life, taking a young man's life, just like myself. That didn't deserve to die. Um, that be that may, I went through the system and I grew up. Went through at 20 years old.
Hmm.
Came home. Came home at 48, and just now I'm just focused on positivity. I created this. Okay, Craig. You give me
Peace.
this. Glad you could
Hey, I
join
know
us.
this guy.
Hey, man.
What's
Yeah. How
happening,
you doing?
Drew?
Doing good.
All
Doing good.
right. Right on. I'm glad to see you all connected with Eric.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
This will be
so
great.
I know it's such short notice. I just wanted, to connect with them just to share what we do here at
Yeah.
Success After Lockdown. I created a podcast upon coming home to highlight, and I know you probably know this already, so we ain't got to stay long on it. So, but just to let you know, I highlight those men and women that's formerly incarcerated, that's home, staying home, and doing something good in the community.
Yeah.
So as in terms of in terms of finding somebody with a whole bunch of negativity, that's not even in my that's not in my cachet. Messing with people that do negative stuff, because I'm a true believer. That once we go through the system, like, you have an obligation now, man, and you do all this time, and you hurt the community and your youth, and you haven't grown up yet, and you still in the same space. Then I really, you know what I mean. That's not something that I want to be associated with. And only thing I could do is try to help with the rehab, with your rehab, but
Right.
we have to want to do it. You know what I mean? We have to want to. The decision is ours at the end of the day. So I had received invitation to uh, the North Carolina prison for adults in Norlena, North Carolina,
Hmm.
under a warden named Miss Shantisha Hawkins, and we had everything set. We even got the hotels booked. We got the flight set for us to come down there. My partner, who lives in Florida, and my producers who live in New York City and New York State. So we we found out abruptly, like out of nowhere, she had stepped down for whatever reason we don't
Mm.
know, but she told us that she was, we already had our paperwork in, everything. We filled out the paperwork, had that in our license. They took pictures of our information, everything. So
Yeah.
she wanted us to speak on June 28th, and so we booked everything, and then this happened with her leaving. So the intern, the new warden came in, and he just gave us a boilerplate denial. Listen, I received your paperwork. I see it. I went over it. Sorry, we don't do podcasts. First and foremost, he misunderstood. We didn't say we was coming in to do a podcast.
Right.
She had us coming in to speak to her population, on rehabilitation and reentry and things like that. So, you know, it's all good. The next step, and I think which is a such short notice step, is us still coming out there. Because we all have family out there somewhere or another, but us coming out there to find resources to interview some men and women and highlight them and their successes out there and what they're doing, and maybe to have like a short forum, a short conversation. But we have to find a space for that. We have to find, the people for that, and that's what I got in touch with a brother I grew up with, and he introduced me to Dr. Craig, and Dr. Craig is, I guess, trying to help me now, you know what I mean, and assist me with any resources that we can get to having this one day event, one day conversation, wherever we can have it in a nice setting. If it's in a community center, if it's, in a backyard somewhere where we can hook up and, just we just looking for few people to highlight. And a lot more may come of that. You know what I mean? So with great minds, I think a lot of people with wheels are turning and things may occur. We have a sister that's joining us from out of Los Angeles, from out of LA, out in California. She's formerly incarcerated as well. She has her own organization. She's coming out to speak as well on behalf of formerly incarcerated women who came out and went through adversity and triumphed over all of that. So Craig, I was just saying that I know, I was just saying that, telling him earlier that I was recording. This is recording right now. Just want everybody to know that I just record all my content, anything, you know what I mean? My producer, he edited up, and he might put some memorable moments that we talk about, some significant, important moments. But the most important thing when building and setting up, we ain't trying to put all that out there.
Indeed. So Eric, I appreciate you telling me that you're recording, and it's all good with me. But also just to let you know that Drew me and Drew have done some work together, and we continue to work together here in the community in the North Carolina Triangle area. And that's why I referred Drew to you, because he's a trusted resource. And so all those things that you're interested in avoiding in a person, a formerly incarcerated person, you're going to avoid that with Drew. Drew is a true, should I say, he's just true. Drew is true, and he's about this work, and he's going to give you some good content. He's a brilliant man. He's a real connected man. He's well resourced. And so that's why anybody that I've linked you with, they are about it, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to be a slouch or poo-put, as I said before. Also, just to give you a heads up, I reached out to my contact. Drew, are you familiar with the what is it? Jake Sussman, what is it? The Social Justice SCSJ. I always forget their name. But Jake Sussman, they have a
Southern Coalition for Social Justice.
Southern Coalition for Social Justice,
yeah.
Right. They have a podcast room, and I reached out to Jake Sussman, Eric. He reached back to me. I sent him out like that same weekend when we talked. I sent it that same day, was Saturday. So he got back at me Sunday, and he said he's reaching out to his people, his team who manned that room, but I haven't heard back from him. So I'm, like I told you, I'm going to do my best for you, but I can't make any promises. So that's the only place that I know. And so if I don't hear back from him, I don't know of any other places where I could recommend you record at.
What do you need? What do you need in the way of a space to record?
Well, I mean, we don't need much. You know what I mean? We did a documentary called The Hotel 6 of formerly incarcerated men, 6 brothers, in a hotel in Times Square, in a hotel room. So
let me be clear. What day will this be on? The 28th?
Yes, the 28th, Friday.
Okay, because now
2 weeks from today. 2 weeks
how
from
late? How late are you thinking about going during the day?
Well, I figure because we record so much in interviews, we do so many interviews in our podcast here at our podcast in New York City. We might get anywhere from six to 8 interviews in, and we'll start at 11 in the morning and finish by 5.
Okay.
You
The
know,
only reason
so
I'm asking is I'm going to the Poor People's March in Washington on the 29th, and the buses are leaving like at 10 or 11 at night. So as long as we're
oh yeah, we
as long as we don't.
we just trying to acquire like a couple of hours.
Okay.
So you might want to get Drew early so he could get back home and get some rest.
Well, what I was going to say is we've got office space in Elizabeth Street United Methodist. I work with the Religious Coalition for Nonviolent Durham. We've got office space, and we've got like a smaller room that's a little more intimate, and then we've got like a big room we use for training. I just looked; neither one of those is booked on the 28th. So if the podcast room doesn't work out, I mean, they're just office space, but you'd be welcome to come use them.
Nice.
That's great. Thanks for that resource, Drew.
Yeah.
Definitely. Also, on the 28th, Eric, I'm not going to be here, unfortunately. I wanted to be here to meet you in person and to participate in the ongoings, but my son has an AAU tournament and it travels from state to state. So, I got to be there.
No question. That's right.
I'm going to be here.
You'll be here in spirit. We definitely make time, in the future too, to talk and stay in touch. But I appreciate that.
I would also suggest, if you haven't talked to Jennifer Jackson over at the Arise Collective, she will. I mean, I certainly know women who have come home from prison, but the Arise Collective specifically works with women coming out of incarceration. Jackson? Yeah, Jennifer Jackson over at the Arise Collective.
This is the first I've heard of them, Drew.
Huh?
This is the first I've heard of the Arise.
Well, so that's a new name, and I'm trying to make sure I'm using it. They used to be the International Prison Ministry for Women, and they branded away from that, and so I'm trying to be
right. And it's called the Arise Collection.
Say what?
It's called the Arise Collection.
Arise Collective. The Arise Collective, and it's Can I? Is there some way to post something in here?
Yeah, you probably could. I don't.
Here you go. All right, so I'll type the. Okay.
What I can do is I can reach out to her tomorrow, Eric, and try to connect you and her. You might find some time to reach out to her and do a cold call. But I'm thinking, because I'm in North Carolina, she may have heard of my work that I'm doing, and so that might be a credible gate just to plug you with her.
All right, I put it in the chat. But
arise-collective.org. Got it.
Yeah, but they do really good work. I mean, I've always been. And Jennifer, so we have the coalition does a homecoming every spring, just to celebrate people that have come back to the community. Indeed. And several years back, they've got a group of women who have written their own music, and many of them wrote inside, and now go around and perform. And they came and shared at our. They did the music for our homecoming. So anyway, they just do really, really fantastic work.
Well, I plugged them in with Christy also. Christy Puckett Williams. Yeah. And though Christy hasn't done state or federal time, she's done a significant amount of county time, local time. And she has her own story of addiction and recovery to share. And she's doing a lot of good work in the community too.
I was thinking, I want you to talk to Omar Guest. So Omar is a partner of ours. When Omar came home last time, the case managers at the county were like, look, this guy, he always comes home. He always says he's going to do great. He always goes back. And he has, he got his CDL. He got a job with the county. He's gotten promoted 2 or 3 times now. So he's a supervisor with the county. And the cool thing is he is moving in that next week. He is moving in to a Habitat for Humanity house.
Nice. His own house.
He's hit all these good. First car he's ever bought in his name. First apartment he ever leased in his name. Now, he's never owned a house before. and now he's gonna, he's owning a house. So just a really great story.
Absolutely, that's a great story.
So I was
I
thinking Omar Guess. I was thinking Bobby Harrington.
I didn't think about Bobby. Yeah, Bobby's my
Harrington.
man. Bobby's my direct man. I could put you in touch with Bobby.
Yeah, Mecca.
Yeah. But I was thinking more women because I know he wanted women.
See, that's where Jennifer is going to help us out, because Jennifer will have exposure to a lot of women. She'll know. She'll know
I
those
think
stories.
it's good. I think it's good if we had, and I want to say the most because we don't want to be there for a long time, taking up people's week, they weekend. But I would say 3 women, 3 men is really good. Like us to capture, and then our stories as well, So we have the sister that's coming from LA to be able to, say something on her behalf, and me and my partner.
So Drew is the first guy that you've connected with that I tied you in with, right, from here.
Yes.
Right. And so I reached out to Kerwin, but I know Kerwin's very busy, Drew. So I reached out to him, but I haven't heard back from him. But Bobby's my man. I just sent him a text today on something else. But I'll follow up with Bobby, and I'll tie Bobby into you, Eric, with an email just saying, yo, Bobby, this is a good brother from the NY. This is what he's doing. If you could link with him. And I'll do the same with Mecca. Mecca's name is William. What's his last name?
Elmore.
William Elmore. Yeah, but we call him Mecca. Matter of fact, I think Mecca is from the city too.
Yeah. Sandra Lassiter. Peer support with Welcome Home, owns Stick and Stay Transition House.
Okay. First I'm hearing her name.
Yeah, she would be good. And Tony Carrington, if we need another guy. He's the man, well, not manager, what do they call him? Team lead for Welcome Home.
Okay.
And but Sandra would be good.
Okay. And then I know
this sister. Pardon me for cutting you off, Craig. This sister that you said that did we speak about?
Oh, you talking about Christy? Christy.
Yeah, Christy.
So Christy sent you an email saying, "Hey, bro, happy to talk with you." So I guess she's waiting for you to email her back because she CC'd me in on the email too.
She CC'd Drew?
Yeah, she was saying, "Yo, we even got comrades who are incarcerated who we could call in and have them part of the show."
Wow, I didn't catch that.
Yeah,
I have to. Yeah, I missed that email.
Yeah, back in.
And it was on there with you, so I should be able to find. Oh, I see a Christy right here.
Mm-hmm.
Plug you till we get free. It's nice to meet you. I live in Charlotte, actually, but I work each week. So, oh yes, I do remember reading this. At some
get back in.
I was at work running. I was ripping and ramping.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, reach out to Christy because she's got a couple other women that she could probably tie you into. Then you see Drew just mentioned a couple of women. And then I got another woman. April Scales gave me her number, Drew, because I reached out to April.
Oh, yeah.
April Barber. Is it Scales or Barber?
I don't know. I generally don't know last names.
Well, her email says April Scales, but she was introduced to me as April Barber. But at any rate, she did a gang of time, Eric, but she told me she couldn't do it, but she gave me a couple of women's names to reach out to as well. So I got one woman's name in particular, and I have her phone number, so I'll send her a text. And if she's with it, then, I'll tie her with you as well.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Like I said, man, I'm going to do my best to try to help you. And I wish I could be here to participate, unfortunately, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate that. I think now it's just now is the biggest part of the hurdle is space. It's just finding a place. So with that, and so now with having that, now I think it's just working around making sure everybody can be there that day, at whatever, space we definitely have. And that's like I said, it'll be appreciated. We look, we on the wing. We just started throwing this out here on the wing. We was just, coming to the prison and to speak with them, and then going back to our families and enjoying them for the weekend. But we still said we would like to at least find someone, and I appreciate this.
Yeah.
Appreciate meeting you,
Yeah.
Drew, as well as Craig. Right, and I appreciate all of the support and assistance that you could
It's a
give.
community, bro. We are a community, formerly
Yeah.
incarcerated
Absolutely.
people who are working towards
That's
desistance. You know, we all want to remain desistant and teach other people how to be desistant. So it's my pleasure to do this. And then, you know, the good brother Jermaine plugged me with you. And Drew, just a quick drop is that Jermaine Archer. I think Jermaine's a professor right now too. Also, but I met Jermaine when I was living in New York, and he was doing time in New York. And I went to Sing Sing prison, and I did a not a podcast, but a TED talk. And that's when my TED talk took place in Sing Sing. And Jermaine did a TED talk, and we met there in 2020. I moved to North Carolina in 2020. Sent a letter to help with Jermaine's release on parole. I think that was around 2021. And then he got out. I think he got out in 2020, actually, not 2021. He actually got out in 2020, later in 2020. And I ran into him at the Fees and Fines convening in North Carolina. I think Daryl, what's Daryl's last name? Daryl and Christy were doing. So that's just a quick synopsis. But Eric, I gotta run. Drew, I gotta run. But Drew, I want to talk to you briefly too.
Yeah.
And I could reach out to you tomorrow, or we could jump on a call right after we get off of this. I'll reach you tomorrow. I think that'll be better.
Okay.
Yeah. But
and
Eric,
I mean, the more the merrier. Before you leave, I appreciate it again. Once again, I just like to let you know we thank you, man. Thank you for this. Also like if we did get a podcast room, that'd be so sweet. You know what I mean? Because then that'll alleviate us bringing all of our equipment down there. You know what I mean? Because we flying too. You know, I'm driving, but my partners, they flying, all three of them. You know, the rest of them.
Right.
You know,
that's the only podcast room I know that has the equipment. I'm not familiar with any other space.
Yeah, that's good. It's all good. But like I said, push come to shove, if we don't have that, we will be able to listen. If we had to hook up phones, my producers is official with.
That's what I was gonna say, Lord.
Content.
That's what I was gonna say. With an iPhone, you could do almost anything.
Yeah, my producers are official with it.
A couple of microphones, an iPhone, a couple of microphones.
Yeah.
That's all you really need. Yeah.
And he got cameras. We got everything, really. You know, tripods. But I appreciate it. Thank you, man.
So stay in touch.
Looking to hear from you soon.
All right. Peace.
Peace and blessing. Okay. And so again, too, with you, Drew, I appreciate that too. Yeah, if we had like a nice space, a neutral space, that would be that's beautiful. You know what I mean? If you could, like I said, if you could picture that, we just want like six people that we can, three women, three men. I'm gonna get in touch with this lady now. I should have been on this email immediately. I just got June 17th, Monday. But yeah, and you could, I guess, get a visual of how that looks. We don't need a big space. We don't need a big space at all. We just need a nice space where we'll be able to sit at a round table or just talk.
Yeah.
Talk with
we can set that. We certainly have the ability to do that. But it's going to be like. There's no like sound deadening on the walls or anything like that. It's just a regular office space.
No, that's all good. It's all good. That's all good. And so we have each other number.
Yep.
I called you, so I know this is like the timing is like really, it's the 28th, it's the 19th,
Yeah,
9 more days.
If it works out, that's great.
9 more days. So I I do appreciate everything that y'all could do on your end, to seeing us, to letting us get some time with some people down there. All right,
Well,
I don't know.
we've got some good folks. I mean, I think that you'll. Yeah. I think this will be good. I think you'll. We've got
Right.
some good.
Could you
We've got some really good stories to tell.
could you give me a little bit about yourself and your
Oh,
story if you could right
yeah.
now?
So I didn't do very. I only did 4 years. Because
Only
yeah. Well, I
4 years is a long time.
borrowed a lot of money without asking, and the
Right.
and people get mad when you do that. So
Absolutely.
so anyway, uh, yeah, and man, I was a miserable human being before I went to prison. So I had, by the time I got locked up, I had alienated pretty much everybody in my life. So when I came home, nobody really wanted to have a whole lot to do with me, and have rebuilt from there. And and fortunately was I got connected with Religious Coalition for a Nonviolent Durham shortly after coming home, and they gave me kind of a group of folks that would be friends, and have grown from there. Now, I guess the first couple of years home, you do anything to pay bills. I worked fast food, and I worked in a commercial kitchen, and did all kinds of stuff. But then I got a job with a nonprofit doing kind of job development, job training for folks that were coming home.
Right.
And then about 2013, the coalition started to grow and asked me to come on board and run the faith team ministry, which is the people that helped me so much when I first came home. And so I've been doing that since then.
Okay.
And,
Okay.
yeah. And I mean, mainly we're about the faith teams are all about just building relationships with folks. We don't have an agenda. We're not trying to change anybody or make anybody believe a certain thing or do anything special. We just want to be in a relationship with folks.
Right.
Because what we believe is the way we change the world is a relationship at a time. And by being in a relationship with folks and letting people know that you're loved unconditionally, and we really don't care what you've done in the past. We care who you are now. And even if you screw up with who you are now, that's okay. We still love you. And,
That's right.
and we're going to be family and community in a world where it feels like a whole lot of the time family and community just aren't valued very much. And yeah,
Absolutely.
and
So
so
how
that's
long
what
you been home now?
I came home in October of 2009.
Okay. Okay.
So about 15
Congratulations
years.
too.
Yeah.
Congratulations. And I say that because 4 years, 2 years, 1 year, or 30 years. That's time. And that can either make you or break you within that
Yeah,
time.
it was a shock because I thought I was the smartest guy in the world. No one would ever figure out what I was doing and whatever. And when they walked in the office and asked me to stand up and turn around and put my hands behind my back, I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, maybe I'm not the smartest guy."
Yeah. Yeah. So how was that experience for you? That's the
Oh
first
my
time being
lord!
in a prison
Well,
system?
yeah, I got downtown and I'm in the holding cells in the jail waiting to get processed. And I'm like, you know what, Lord, I've learned my lesson. You can
Yeah,
let me
yeah.
go now. I
No,
won't do that again. But honestly,
absolutely.
prison was the best thing God could have done for me at that point, because I was hardened to addiction. I was just not just destroying my life, but the lives of the folks that were around me. Uh, and I wasn't going to stop. I mean, I'd take the family to church on Sundays, but I'd sit out and BS with the ushers because I couldn't go in and sit in mass. I was under such conviction, but I wasn't going to stop for heaven's sakes.
Yeah.
So yeah, just that kind of hard stop and putting me in a situation. I ended up spending 15 months in solitary. And as bad as that was, it was a real opportunity to confront the person I'd become. And so it was, it was a lot of spiritual growth, a lot of personal growth, and yeah, I'm
Nice,
better for it.
nice.
I wish I'd learned all of that without having to go to prison.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
Was
yeah,
it kind of hard? Was it? I mean, because I never been in New York, in North Carolina prison. Um, I never been in no other prison but New York State, and being in New York State prison, it's really violent. It was terribly violent. At the same time, we were able to make, you were able to make your space,
yeah,
you know, carve your space, and there were certain prisons around New York State that were more progressive than others, that you were able to go and get into school. I went in there without a GED. I came home with my GED, my associate's, bachelor's, and my master's degree.
yeah, that's
So
awesome.
I kind of let the time. I did the time. I didn't let the time do me, but looking out, in the system while I was doing that, it was really violent. How was it where you were at? Did you
Uh,
experience that?
I was so certainly there are prisons that are more violent, particularly the security threat group or gang. They tend to isolate those guys into prisons with each other. Those tend to be violent. Uh, I was I read a lot, and frankly, I just kind of stayed away from people. And then I was lucky enough to get a job in the kitchen, and I initially just did general stuff, but I was diet cook, and then I got to be stockroom in the kitchen, and that was a really great. I mean, for several reasons. One is the side hustles were insane, but also people really didn't give me too bad a hard time, because if they did, they weren't going to get anything out of me. So
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And I know that you experienced, like you said, that was your first time
oh yeah.
incarcerated, and that just that day, if you could talk about that for me, like how was that experience for you coming home, being released, after that time?
Oh yeah.
Because like I
So
said, after 4 years or 30 years, it
yeah.
still feel like 30 years.
Yeah, so I came back, and of course, I had no place to go. But fortunately, Durham County has a transition house that the county owns. So they let me go there, and you can see. I think the most you can stay there is 90 days. I was there about 60 before I moved out. But they but yeah, so I went there. So the first day, I was ready to go when they opened the yard, like at 5:30. I was sitting on a bench ready to go. The PO didn't pick me up until about 4:30 in the afternoon. But man, I was ready. So they get me to the house, and nothing really happened that night. But the next day, one of the things Durham County does is they give you bus passes. Now, right now the bus is free, but back then it wasn't, and so they give you bus passes, ostensibly so you can get to your appointments and you can go look for jobs and stuff. But what I did is I rode into the bus station, and then I rode number one bus all the way out and back in, a number two bus all the way out and back in, a number three bus, because that ability to
Yeah.
ride a
So,
bus and you're not
yep.
looking through wire mesh on the windows, and if I see something interesting, I can pull the cord and get out and walk around and go stand. And just that ability to not see the world through a fence and to walk around. But the flip side of that is you walk around, as you walk around your first few days or weeks home, and you feel like everybody knows that you're a convict. and
Yeah.
uh and it takes a while to realize, first of all, most people don't know, and secondly, most people don't care. they're just,
Yep.
they're
And
just trying
and
to do
that's
their
what
stuff.
and see, and that's why we talk about things like this and these type of questions we ask, because you see the similarities with each other, whether you have a year, 4 years, or 30 years.
Yeah.
because, I remember all too well, I came home August 10th, 2020. And I thought everybody was looking at me, thought I just came out of prison,
Yeah.
when nobody was thinking about me, but the people that loves me, that knew me,
Right.
So, but and then I remember my first time getting on a bus and looking at people and people looking at me, and I felt uncomfortable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I wrote it out, but I remember that feeling, and I think we get that feeling whether we do 4 years or 30 years or 27 years and 6 months,
Yeah.
So I think we definitely have the similarities there. But I want to say I appreciate you know what I mean, for just talking with me. I would like to definitely have you on here with me and my partner. So
Okay.
we do a StreamYard. This is what we do on StreamYard. We have our podcast also on StreamYard, where we interview and talk to men and women across this country on StreamYard. And we talk about the issues of mental health and,
Yeah.
and just prison and rehabilitation and, and transitioning back into society. We talk about all of the issues that's positive and that can help someone else, help inspire someone else
Yeah.
that's still in there, that's coming home. Another thing is I'm trying to get our podcast into the prison system. Because I think it's important that those men with those tablets, that they be able to see something like this, because this
Yeah.
will inspire them, to coming home and doing good and doing right, by hearing our stories and what we doing out here and being progressive and staying positive. Everything ain't got to be negative all the time.
Yeah.
Although negativity consumes most of the society, out here. So yeah, this is what we do. We have these conversations, and they conversations that we have, and we and we gather that content, to show, because I'm a true believer, right? That I've seen firsthand in New York State. I can talk, and some other states now, since I've been out here doing my research, but I've seen firsthand where our stories and us being out here, staying out here and doing right now, we're the reason that this recidivism rate that's so high is getting lower and lower. The percentage is going down because we're not going back. We're not recidivist.
Right.
Recidivate. You know what I mean? We're not going back to prison, a lot of us. And I think we the reasons why the recidivism rate is getting lower. You would have that state or those states or those government officials, they would like to, put out there that whatever they doing, they bringing in some rehabilitation programs or that's what's, bringing down the recidivism rate. But no, it's you and I, us coming out here and staying
Yeah.
out here. And
I mean, I think one of the things we see again and again and again is all of the programs in the world are fine and helpful once someone has made the decision not to go back. But at least in North Carolina, the way the system is structured is it's much easier to go back than it is to stay out. And it's when you have those peer support people with you who can say, hey, look, I know it sucks. I know it's tough, but you can get through it because I got through it. And I can tell you my story to say, yeah, I know it's tough. And I know it's hard having to learn how to deal with a boss. And I know, we had a guy last year who had come home. He had a PO. He went to work at a place that was a restaurant that happened to have a bar in it. That PO was fine with that. He had been there 9 months, got a new PO, and the PO says, you have to quit because you can't work at a bar. And he's like, well, one, it's a restaurant with a bar. Two, the PO I had, I've been there 9 months and it was fine. No, you got to quit. And it's like, he's just right. And I'm like, you're right. You're right. You have every right to rage. You have every right to just say, screw it. But for your sake and the sake of the people that love you and care about you, let's talk through it. Let's find a way to do something
Find a
positive.
solution, no question, because they do that everywhere. They do that in New York State, the parole. They do it, man. I've endless cases of that situation, just right there. What you just said happened.
Yeah,
a lot of people I know that happened to. That's crazy.
Yeah, and
But,
you hear it so many times. Hey, it feels like that they just dribble stuff. POs just dribble stuff out at me. I could deal with it if they told me all at one time all I had to deal with, but they don't. They tell me, and then like a month later they'll add something else, and then they'll add something else. And it's like that's right.
Absolutely.
And whether they're doing it because they're trying to drive you crazy or they're just incompetent, it really doesn't matter. It's stressful either way.
That's
whether
right.
it's intentional or incompetence, it still is stressful.
That's right.
But you can be part of a community of other folks who have been through that.
Right. That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well,
I think a lot of times that's what we need is just somebody who says, I've been there and I agree it's wrong and it stinks. But here's what I did.
That's right. Absolutely. Well put. So listen, I appreciate your time.
Yeah.
I hope we talk soon too. And like I said, we would love to have you with us too when we come down. Have you
sure.
participate in our conversation when we down there, as well as on StreamYard soon after that. We would love to have you on here, me and my partner, just talking, just conversating, just telling our stories and our experiences in life. And pleasure to meet you again.
Yeah, good to meet you too. And you'll like me and Mecca and Omar, and then talking to Jennifer Jackson over to Rise. They're just some really great people.
Right.
So yeah, you're gonna meet some really super people.
Well,
right.
Good, and you have my email.
I hate that you can't get into the prison, but it's going to be a good experience to have you down.
Absolutely, and you have my number, my email too. If you did get in touch with them, I know Craig is also trying to, but feel free to give them my number to get in touch with me. I will get in touch with them. It might be the same day or 2 days later, but I will get in touch with them. It won't be a week. You can believe that. And appreciate it. But yeah, definitely, because I would love to talk to them and see if they're able to make it the 28th, and to see if they are willing to talk with us, just conversate with us, and tell them what we about, and what we doing.
Okay, sure.
All right. Appreciate you.
Thanks,
Appreciate you, Drew, man. Looking forward to meeting you.
Yeah.
Formally. Appreciate you.
See you, buddy.
All right. Peace and blessing.